Hello everybody, how's it going? It is currently May the 4th, 2020. Happy Star Wars Day. Before we get into this video, I wanted to explain what we were doing, and exactly why I'm creating a new song every day. Well, the thing is that currently we are in this wonderful time called quarantine. And basically, we can't do anything. So we ended up kind of just getting stuck, and this is not just a me problem, this is the entire world problem. So we're all stuck, and we can't really do much. So I thought, what better to do than challenge myself by composing a new piece of music every day. Now, I'm not a wizard at Ableton, nor am I the greatest musician in the world, I just have a lot of keyboards. It's more of like a expanding my horizons challenge, and hopefully it'll give you insight into how I compose, how I arrange things, and how I work in like a digital setting versus a live musician. Obviously, you can't work with live musicians too much, but this should be fun, and I hope this is entertainment. I will probably start shouting a lot because I have ideas that I cannot speak. So if all I'm saying is just complete gibberish for the rest of the video, I apologize. I might add like subtitles of what I'm trying to say. I'm also trying to start using screen recording, which I initially wasn't going to do, and then I realized that everything I do is in a live session, so that would be stupid to not do that. But unfortunately, the audio driver that I'm using for Ableton does not work with Bandicam, so I can't actually record audio. So I'm gonna record audio on my phone and then splice it together. So if the audio is out of sync and my mouth is moving but my words aren't, it's just gonna be a pain. I'm gonna see how well I can edit this. I hope you enjoy. The song you're listening to right now, I created someday this week. It's probably just the one I liked most, but I have no idea. It is Monday, and I will be recording my songs from Monday to Friday, and hopefully this video will be up on Saturday. So I will see you in a few minutes when I decide to start working on this song. See you there. It's Monday, May 4th, and today is the first day that I'm documenting my creative process. I guess I should just start where I normally start, which is just trying to come up with an idea, and that could be a drum beat, or a melodic line, or a chord progression. Most of the time it's a chord progression. I'm mainly a keys player, so I obviously start with just the standard piano sound, and see if I can come up with something, which is I think the approach I'm going to have today, just because like it's familiar, and I'm not really going in today with like any specific like motive or any inspiration. Some days I'll go in and I'll be like, yes, I have this idea, I have this genre that I want to write, I have this like, this basic form or whatever, but I never really go into it with like, a full song. Part of the challenge is that I can't use material that I've made previously. Everything that I have to post has to be posted the day of. Everything that is composed has to be composed the day of, unless it's a sample. So yeah, let's start with that. If I come up with something, it will cut to it, and if I don't, then they'll probably, I don't know what'll happen, but it'll cut to whenever I have some idea. But I'm just gonna start noodling and see if I can find anything. I mean, that's a little loud. Ooh, okay, yeah, so I just had an idea. Which is in 5. Let's see if I can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Yeah, so it's in 5, which is cool. I don't think I've written a song in 5 yet. What's the tempo on that? First of all, 5/4. No, 5/4. Tempo 1, 2, 3, 4. Around 158. Is that right? Yeah. So yeah, around there. And And then also it uses that like the 5/4 clave, like the Mission Impossible theme, like the da 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 da, you know. So it kind of works off of that. I think I can fix that kind of like cheesiness by doing the drums. So let's go to the part where you can see my screen, and we'll go from there. Perfect. All right. So it's time. All right. So I'm gonna record this, just this little intro riff that I have. Good. All right. So now that I have that, I gotta kind of figure out. Oops. I just added an extra MIDI track. That's fine. Gotta figure out what kind of drums I want over this. What kind of. Sorry, just waiting for it to load. Maybe I'll do like 5 on the floor. Oh, wait a minute. That's really difficult. This might be a track that I have to build up. I will come back to that when I have an idea. Alright, so I found a drum beat that I wanted to use, and it doesn't use the 5/4 clave. So let's see if I can get it. We'll hear it. Nope, I just did the 5/4 clave. Yep. The pattern in the kick drum is going to be different. So I just need to remember what it is now. No, I keep doing the same thing again. I need to stop. Good. I think it missed the kick on the first one. And I'll also just add a crash on the first one. Cool. So I really wanted that like super heavy like. I'm actually not digging that snare as much. I want kind of a lower snare. That works. No, I want a more like resonant snare. That could work. I definitely think this kit needs some reverb. Maybe not. Maybe it just needs some compression. Maybe some kick compression. I don't know where that is. Just gonna add some compression. Cool, good. So now it's just about kind of adding the sauce. I think I'm gonna add some pads right now, just real quick. Just some Rhodes. You know, just because Rhodes makes everything better. Whoops, that's my bad. Cool. So now we have that. Alright, yeah, definitely gonna turn the drums down a bit. They're a bit too loud. So now we're kind of getting into like a little bit of mixing, which I usually don't get into until the very end. But if I find something is like way too, prominent, then I'll turn it down. The drums are definitely way too loud in this. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. So I'm not really sure where I want to take this song. Maybe I want it to have a bridge. but we'll see. Maybe, sometimes I'm inspired by a sound. Sometimes I'm inspired by something else. So we'll keep going, and I'll check back in right when right when we're done. Pretty much, not pretty much, but when we're done with this idea. All right, I made some progress on the songs. I'm gonna stop using the screen recorder now because it's kind of a pain, and I don't actually know how difficult this is gonna be to sync those things. So it might not be able to even be usable footage. So in the case of that, I am just going to explain what I did really quick. So I came up with the 5/4 piano riff, which you heard. Here, I'll just layer everything one at a time. So 5/4 piano riff is pretty standard. And then I came up with a drum beat that doesn't emphasize the 5/4 clave. Let's get the turn the metronome off. So the 5/4 going dot 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 dot, which this keyboard does use, but so the drums don't emphasize that. So that kind of takes us out of that 5/4 clave zone. So then I was like, everything could use a little thickening. So we'll add some pads. That was probably the worst possible way I could have said that. But I added some pads, which is extra roads, which you can't really hear. So after that, I was like, well, what comes next? Well, usually if I want to add some character to my songs, I check some synths, because synths are super cool. I have a nice analog synth right here, but I didn't use that synth because it's a pain to record. Instead, I wanted to Ableton just checked out one of their synths. Which one was it? It's called Everything I just said was wrong. But I recorded some pads on that, and it kind of arpeggiates them really nice. And usually what that does for a lot of my songs is it adds a lot of this like character, because my songs are these kinds of like flat, faceless, like loops. And then, but since the synth is always moving and changing and you can like tweak all these parameters, it really adds a lot of character to the song. And I think that's kind of like, that's the main reason why I add them, is because, you get like it's just an arpeggiator, but it adds so much character to the song. So with the arpeggiator, it sounds like this. And obviously, I kind of rhythmically and methodically did the arpeggiator, so it's kind of choppy too. So now I want to work on not a melody per se, but like a solo line. And I found that there's a space choir sample, and if it's used in the higher register, it sounds more like a string sample, which is really cool because I don't have any good string samples. So kind of like So that's super cool. So I think I'm about to record a melody line over this. When I have some sort of resemblance of a melody line, I will cut back to this. Oh, I almost fell. So I will see you when we get there. Alright, I am going to track a solo. I kind of figured out what kind of vibe I'm going for. It's funny because when you get inspiration while you're making music, sometimes it points you in a direction, and this is like every ounce of my soul wants this to be a Christmas level, a Christmas themed level on Mario Kart. And it made me want to add sleigh bells, but I don't think I am, because I don't think that would be appropriate, as it is, May 4th, and it has been beautiful weather out recently. Ignore the sweatshirt I'm wearing, because I always wear sweatshirts and pants, so just ignore that. But we have, this kind of like snowy strings, as I like to call them. That's a terrible thing to call them. I have no idea what they're called. But I'm going to record that right now, and you are going to watch that. I guess I will cut to certain parts of it if it ever gets cool. And if not, then this footage will not be used. to add some samples. We'll see what samples I've chosen when I get back, and we'll kind of go from there. And then I'll do the mixing and mastering, where I will record using Bandicam, and then I think that song will be done for today. So I will see you when we get there. That's a terrible transition.
Hey, so you might notice I'm wearing the Tuesday clothes because it's actually Tuesday. Well, actually now it's Wednesday. It's 12:49 a.m. on Wednesday, and I'm editing my Monday video, and I just realized that I didn't record an ending or anything. So in the background of me talking right now, you're gonna hear the Snow Waltz in 5/4. I actually really like this song. I think it's beautiful, and I just wanted to talk a little bit because I need to fill some time. I was originally going to do this as a series of like one solid video, but then I realized that each video I make about each song is going to be really long. This one's already pushing like the 20-minute mark, and the other one is already 13 minutes. I also am never going to record a video like Monday's video again because it's so convoluted and complicated. So you can expect more stuff like Tuesday's video. I'm having a very good time though. It's really pushing my horizons. I very much enjoy the editing process. It's kind of just like visual Ableton. So it's pretty cool. And I hope that you're enjoying this content as much as I'm enjoying creating it. All three of you watching this. And yeah, this is the Snow Waltz. And there's not really much I can say here. I'm just trying to fill time so you can listen to this beautiful song. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.